look, another thing I hate to be right about. Trump just announced that he's going to be signing an executive order and leading a movement against mail-in voting. I'm starting to get the feeling that Republicans aren't into this whole democracy thing. He's also apparently going after the machines themselves, and not just in time for the lead up to midterms, but also, curiously, just in time for TikTok to announce and then in September implement its new terms of service that much more severely limit our ability to even talk about elections. Now, before I continue with the story at hand, if I may, I'd like to just ask you to find me on I, along with many other people like me, am worried that I may not be able to do this for much longer on here. What's interesting about targeting mail-ins is that not only does it disenfranchise students who may be, living away from home for a time, as well as the elderly, those with disabilities, people who might have trouble getting to their in-person sites, which of course also includes lower income folk and anyone who lives in the areas that Republicans specifically target to turn into poll site wastelands. Often, I'm sure coincidentally, disproportionately affecting people of color and minorities, caretakers for their kids or family members, which of course is a role mostly filled by women. It also affects members of the military. Yeah, not just those deployed overseas, too. Isn't that funny? But also ones stationed elsewhere within the United States. Like National Guard members and stuff. Just for example, or anyone who's stationed at a base in a different state, let's say. The good news is someone tracked about a year ago all the lawsuits that Republicans were losing over mail-ins, and I don't know if the tally has been updated since, but at that time, Republicans had lost 20 and won only 5. That said, this is of course predictable because it's classic disenfranchisement, despite the fact that Trump and Republicans have flip-flopped on the question of mail-ins multiple times, depending of course on which one they think will benefit them more, as is always the case. Trump also made the claim that the states aren't really in charge of this. They're just doing it for the federal government. So it falls under their purview, which is a questionable claim at best, just based on how it's written in the Constitution. If you want me to go over that and everything else the Constitution says about this, please let me know. But of course, he's gonna try. And the problem, as is always the problem, is that when he issues this executive order, his good little soldiers and the party that stands to gain the most from disenfranchising the largest swaths of Americans are gonna jump to it and start taking steps immediately, challenging the court cases to kind of roll in. Those court cases, while they may grant us injunctions and pauses on stuff, will of course take months, if not years, to get through, which could spill into the prep time at the very least for midterms, if not the midterms themselves. And this, let me remind you, is why I keep saying that authoritarianism does not require the cancellation of elections. It just needs to do what this country has always done, but just a little bit more, which is disenfranchise through gerrymandering or preventing accessibility. Again, please consider finding me on YouTube. Same name, everywhere.